In this video, I want to explain to you why online courses can change your life. Now, let me just give you a few reasons why online courses will change your life, why they've changed my life. The first one is very simple. You can turn your existing expertise into cash. You can take something you already know, something you're already expert at, and you can share that expertise by creating an online course that people will buy. I've got stacks of evidence for this, like about 9,000 courses and about 5 million people on Udemy, just to start. This enables you to earn passive income. Once you've recorded the course, you can upload it and then let it earn itself. Now, there are means and ways of promoting that to drive your sales even faster. But even if you do nothing, if you've got several courses up like I have, you can still make several $100s a month by doing absolutely nothing. And in some cases, I know instructors who are making a huge amount of money and they do no promotion at all. One of the great things about being online, of course, is you can reach a global audience. And this is fantastic because you can actually take your reach from just your existing network and reach people literally all over the world. And that's a huge audience. And you don't need to have very much of that audience to actually create a great income. Now, although you can create one online course and that'll earn you a bit of money, I would actually advocate that you can take this whole courses thing a step further and you can make it a complete business. And that's what I'm doing. And I'll show you what that can do to your life in the next slide. Remember that this online course is phenomenal. The ability to actually do this is relatively new. Udemy's only been going for about 2 or 3 years. I joined it about 18 months after it launched, maybe a little bit after that. But the fact of the matter is you are in early. You are an early adopter. And therefore, by establishing yourself as an expert and you're somebody who's really credible in your field now, then you are setting yourself up for a great future as the audience continues to grow for these online courses. Best of all, this online course business can create the freedom that you want because it gives you time and it gives you money, and then you can do with that what you want to do. Because if you're sleeping and earning money, then when you get up during the day, you don't have to work. Well, obviously, I think you do, but you understand how a passive income can create that freedom for you. And that's what excites me about this so much. So why has it changed my life? Well, I've been on Udemy approximately 18 months, and you can see that I'm recording this video in February 2015. You can also see from the numbers, and I'm being completely transparent with you, that it took me a while to work out really how to make it go well on Udemy. You can see for months and months and months, I was earning only a few $100s a month from Udemy. I was earning a bit on SkillFeed as well, and I was getting something from my affiliate business as well. But nonetheless, you can see that the graph was dumbling along very low, under $1,000. And then suddenly I've jumped up because since 2014 October, I've actually worked out better and better how to make this business work for me. And I'm now doing a couple of $1,000s a month, and I haven't actually created any new courses for about 6 months. I've been working on how to do it, but now I'm ready to ramp it up. I've got 9 more courses in the pipeline at the moment, and I just imagine what that's going to do to my income over the next few months as I get those courses completed and published. So let me take you through what it takes to make a great online course. Because I think if you can understand this, then you're going to go a major step forward to actually creating your own great online courses. And you want them to be great. You want them to stand out because it's the great courses that people will go for and want to buy. So I'm going to share my experience with you and explain to you exactly what makes a great online course. Let's start by finding a great topic. Now, this is a lot easier than you think because there are lots and lots of things that you're expert at, even if you don't actually realize it. And let's be clear, the definition of an expert is simply somebody who knows more about a topic than the person who wants to learn about it. So you don't have to be Einstein. You don't have to be some amazing PhD genius. You simply just have to be bloody good, very good at doing something that you are passionate about and that you can teach. So why don't you sit down and brainstorm your expertise? Get a piece of paper out and spend 15 minutes or half an hour just writing down all the things that you think you're really great at and that you think you could turn into a topic on Udemy. Now, go and search on Udemy for similar topics. See what else other people have done. Take a look at their contents, see what they're doing and see how they're doing it. Now, don't copy them. But having done that research, then work out how you would do it and how you would do it better and how you would make it stand out. What have they forgotten to put in that you think is really, really important? So you see, creating or finding the topic that you can teach is actually simply a matter of delving into your own experience and seeing what you're good at. So let's go through now the sort of components of a great course and let me try to help you understand how easy it is to put together a framework of content that actually makes a great online course. And we start inevitably with the title of the course. And this is not difficult. I would actually suggest you don't start with the title, but actually you create a working title. And then right at the end, you come back and you create your title. And the formula for your title is very, very simple. The topic, the audience, and the benefit. And you need to get all three into that in order to explain. And again, go and have a look at what your competitors are doing and then work out how you can actually make your course title stand out. From the beginning, you need to have some very clear learning objectives. So you need to decide what the students are going to learn, why it will benefit them. Now, the acronym WIIFM stands for What's in It for Me, and that's what the students will always want to know. So when you're scoping your learning benefits, you need to be explaining this and making it very clear to them that by taking their course, they are going to get a series of benefits, a series of things they're going to learn. You must clearly identify the audience that you're addressing, because if you're creating a course for cooks, there's no point in giving accountants the idea that they might benefit from the course. So you must be very clear in your own mind who you're addressing your course to. And you need to have this in your mind right at the beginning when you're starting to create your course. So you're actually creating the course for that audience from the word go. Now, your course objectives should have three main characteristics. They should be specific, they should be focused, and they should be achievable. So make the topics and the goals you want to achieve very, very clear, very specific. Then make them very easy to understand, so you really focus in on the core point. And then make each objective and each step of the course achievable. Don't try and get your students to learn too much too quickly. Have a sort of graded growth so that they go through things sequentially and logically, and therefore it makes the learning experience much easier. Let's take a look now at the course summary. Now, this is the description of the course that your potential students can read when they're deciding whether or not to take the course. The key point to get across in this summary is, what is the benefit of taking the course? We're back to what's in it for me. Try to identify their pain, the problem they're having, and then explain why you're going to solve it. Another really important aspect of this description, which Udemy doesn't always emphasize, but I think it's really important, is to get in the social proof. And you can do this in a couple of ways. One, you can explain how many students have already taken the course or how many 5-star reviews you've got. But you can also actually quote some of these reviews and what people are saying about the course in your course description. They will allow you to do this. And I'd strongly recommend, once you've got a couple of great reviews, to put them into your course description. Make sure you write your course description in the you form. You, the student, will benefit from. You will get this from. So you're talking to them directly in a very personable manner. Communicate to them how it's going to change their lives. How, by taking your course, it's not just about the benefits of the course, but how they're at this stage now, and then once they've taken their course, their lives will be different because they will be able to do something they can't do today, or they will have a problem taken away that they're suffering from today. You ought to be able to deal with objections in this course description. And the primary objections are people can't afford it, They don't have any interest, they don't believe what you're saying, or they don't believe it's going to work for them. So you need to try to address these by challenging whether the cost of them not taking the course is going to be greater to them. That if they're not interested, then challenge the fact that they're missing out on something and that they really ought to get their minds around it. If they simply don't believe you, but the social proof will show them that other people do believe you and it's worked for them. And then finally, the one, well, it might work for them, but it won't work for me. You need to say, well, basically, if it works for them, it can work for you. And you need to try and get these objections knocked off. Finally, make your whole course description readable. So break it up, have bullet points, bold, italics, short sentences, short paragraphs, and really make it easy to scan and attractive to read. If it's great big blocks of heavy text, it'll turn people off straight away. Now, the course image is a crucial component in terms of selling when people first see it. And the really great news is here, you don't have to be a designer. Why? Because Udemy will create your course image for you, and I let them do it for me. I haven't got a designing body in my a bone in my body. Now, I don't always like what they produce, but I trust them, knowing that they have created so many course images that they've got a pretty good idea of what works and doesn't work. So rest easy on this. Don't spend any time or effort on it. Put the ball in their court and get them to create the course image for you. Let's take a look now at course structure, because this is actually quite important. And this is something you should be planning and get planned out before you even start to record a single frame of a single video. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this is to actually go into Udemy, create a course with a working title, and then use the curriculum builder in Udemy to create your sections and your lectures. And then you can very easily drag and drop and reorder everything so that you actually get your course designed before you actually start to do anything. So make sure that the content that you put together has a logical flow to it from start to finish. So if you've got clear objectives, then you have to take people through the various steps they need to complete in order to achieve those objectives, and they should be in a logical order. It's important to add sections for a number of reasons. One is that it actually breaks up the structure of the course and people can see how the course is organized. But equally, you can create very specific learning objectives for each section, and this will help you to create better courses because you'll keep the logical flow and there will be a purpose to each section and why that content is in that section and what it's achieving. This will help you to keep the content of your course to the core components you need to achieve the objectives you set out at the beginning. Now, there's the need to have and there's the nice to have. And I strongly recommend that when you create the course, in order to get it published promptly, you concentrate on the need to have. You can always bring in the nice to have components later, and students will love that because they feel they're getting something for nothing. If they've already signed up and you say, hey, I've added another section on this because I thought it'd be really helpful, they'll love you for it. And that will actually encourage them to evangelize your courses, to give you great reviews, and therefore make your course even better and more sellable. Let's talk now about video lectures, going down to the individual components of the course. Now, there's a great SEO benefit here, and that is to make sure that you have very clear lesson titles, but titles which create intrigue and benefit. And it also helps students when they're deciding whether or not to take your course, as they scan down the contents of the course. Instead of saying lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, if you have titles which have got intrigue and ask questions and challenge them, then actually it makes the course much, much more appealing. And you can get keywords into that, and that'll help you with your search as well. So there's the title of each lecture needs to be thought through very carefully after you've actually created the lecture, and to make it a key component and a key selling point of your course. Now, there's a lot of discussion about optimal lecture lengths, and this actual video is actually quite a long video deliberately, but when you're creating videos for your courses, I strongly recommend you try to keep them to between 3 and 5 minutes each, because people's attention will wander, and if you can keep the videos concise and punchy like that, it'll be a real benefit for you, because it'll seem for the students they're getting through the course much more quickly. And then if they want to go back and revisit a point, it's very easy for them to find it, as opposed to trying to delve into a 30-minute or an hour's video and try and find the point at which you actually address that point. In order to create the content for the lecture, I would recommend you take a keynote or a PowerPoint slide and create a slide for each point you want to make in the course. Now, you can then turn that with screen capture into part of your course. But in terms of organizing your mind about what each lecture is going to contain, that's how I do it, and that's how I'd recommend you should do it too. So when you start your lecture, it's very simple. Like I did at the beginning of this one, say, in this video, I want to, and then explain the purpose of the video. You need to have a clear objective for this, and then explain to them what they're going to do. And then you need to summarize at the end what they have learned. And then in the middle, you put the meat of the lecture and you actually teach it to them. So it's a classic, tell them what you're going to teach them, and then tell them at the end what you've taught them. Now, the summary or wrap-up lecture is actually a key component to your whole course, and it needs to be made after you've completed the course. Don't try to obviously do it beforehand if you've designed the course, because sometimes courses end up being slightly different. You'll go in a slightly different direction to that you originally planned. So once you've finished your courses, the first lecture you should record quite promptly while it's all still fresh in your mind is that summary or wrap-up lecture. And you can go through what people have learned, but make sure you put some positive reinforcement in there. Congratulate them for completing the course. Really make a bit of a fuss of your student who sat through, the 30 minutes or the hour or the 2 hours of the course that you've created to teach them something. So congratulate them on their achievement. It's also a very good way to encourage engagement with you, to explain at the end of this summary or wrap-up lecture how they can contact you, and encourage them to come back and ask you questions. Tell you what they thought of the course, and indeed perhaps ask them, what else would you like to see in the course? What have I missed out that you felt should be in the course? So encourage that dialogue and engagement, because if you can create a relationship with these students, then you will find that they will come back and buy more of your courses in the future. Once you've created the course and created the summary lecture, then it is time to create your introductory lecture, because then you know what you're introducing. It's a huge mistake to do the introductory lecture first, because very often you'll find you'll have to go back and re-record it, because actually what you're introducing is not actually going to be what's in the course. So it's a very simple but very easy mistake to make. So you create it immediately after you've created the summary video. In addition, because this is like a sort of bit of a sales pitch, as well as your promotional video, which we'll come on to in a moment, make this video previewable so that people can, when they're scanning your course, they can view it for free. And that's a really good tip for getting engagement from students who are considering buying your courses. And don't be afraid to make other videos in your course, perhaps even as many as 20% of them, previewable, so people can get a real flavour of what they're going to learn. Because if you capture their interest and their intrigue, they will buy your course. The introductory lecture should make it very clear what your course objective is, who it's for, and you should definitely sell the benefits of the course in that lecture. And you've got 3 to 5 minutes to do that. So make sure you get these points across. Remember, what's in it for me? The third lecture you then produce is the promotional lecture. Now, if you don't produce a promotional lecture, Udemy will by default stick up your introductory lecture. So in a sense, it's something you could leave out, but I strongly recommend that you don't, because this is a really good, punchier sales pitch rather than the introductory lecture, which is telling people more about what's in the course. You need to try and make it engaging and stand out, and definitely show yourself in the course. The students want to know who's going to teach them. Even if in the main part of your course you don't do headshots like I'm doing on this video, then definitely make sure in the promotional video you show yourself and you help your students to get to know you. This video is ideally kept down to under 3 minutes. Udemy say 1 to 2 minutes, and it's actually quite difficult to make a 2-minute video for a promotional video. Make sure you introduce yourself and make it clear what your expertise is. Give an overview, a very quick, like 1 or 2 sentence overview of what's in the course, but definitely get across the key benefits of taking the course, the pain they're solving, and how they're going to feel after it. Make sure you address the audience you've designed the course for, so that they understand who you're talking to and that it is for them, or indeed it may not be for them. But by being specific about your audience, you're actually helping them a great deal. And then finally, make sure at the end of it you have a call to action. Encourage them to enroll today. I'll see you on the other side. I look forward to seeing you in the video, but get that call to action in, because you have to tell people what you want them to do. Now, finally, we can look at online additional resources. What other things can you include in your course to make it stand out? And this is actually so easy to do, because all you're doing is taking the existing material from the course and representing it in several different formats and in different ways, which will help your students, because you'll reinforce their learning lessons by helping them to consume the material in different contexts. Students love it because they feel they're getting extra value. Now, the easy things to do are just simply produce and add a PDF of each slide deck for each video. That helps people, which they can then download, and that helps your students be able to take away stuff, particularly if you've got slightly complex slide decks. Create an MP3 audio of the course and make that downloadable, so people actually can put it on their iPhone or on their Android phone and walk around and listen to you, when they're out and about doing other things. That's a huge plus to reinforce the learning. If you've got complex documents, why not write a summary document that the people can actually understand? And you can take that a step further. You can create checklists and templates, and they really appreciate it because they really help your students with the learning process. So, why can this all work for you? I know it seems really daunting. It seems like there's a hell of a lot going on here. Now, the great news is actually Udemy has lots and lots of help resources that you can dive into, and there are also free courses on Udemy that will help you make your course. But I'm trying to share with you my expertise and my experience rather than just give you a quick how-to. The best news is the first course you make is the worst. The first is the worst. It's going to be the most difficult. It's going to be the steepest learning curve. And if you do the planning that I recommend in this video and really get yourself really well organized, then you'll find actually the production process will be a lot easier and a lot smoother and a lot faster. But hey, don't aim for perfection. You are not trying to produce the Mona Lisa. You're trying to produce something which is great and which is going to create a great learning experience for the student. But as you've seen in this video, if I make the odd verbal mistake, or I want to swallow like that, I just do it, because that's a perfectly natural way of communicating with people. So you mustn't be robotic, but you can be perfectly natural. If you make a mistake, live with it. In the production of this video, I've had 2 little interruptions, which I'm going to have to go back and edit out. I hope you won't notice them, but it can happen. And as you create more courses, you will learn to create better courses, and you'll learn from the experience. So don't be put off by the difficulty of creating the first one, and don't spend ages and ages and ages analyzing and preparing and whatever, because you can get sucked into that analysis paralysis phase where actually all you're doing is the analysis and the preparation. You're not actually taking the action. So my best encouragement to you would be to do your planning, give yourself a finite amount of time for it, and then get stuck in and just do it. Now, in the next video in this series, I'm going to share with you some of the secrets of how to take your course from good to great. And we're going to look in particular at the production phase of creating a great online course. So in this, I've given you the planning overview, and I'm going to take you now into the production phase and help you to really get your mind around what you have to do to make a great course. Before you get that video, engage with me. Why don't you tell me what is stopping you from creating your first course? I really want to know what is stopping you from taking action today. What are you afraid of? What is the hurdle that you feel you can't jump, give me an email, john@jbdcolley.com. I'd love to hear from you. Just put in the title, I don't think I can, because it'll make it much easier for me to find them. And tell me what you're worried about. And if I can help, I will. I read every email that people send me. I love getting these emails, and I would love to hear from you. Remember, a problem shared is a problem halved. So I hope you've got some benefit from this video in terms of creating online courses. And I hope you've come to some understanding of why online courses can really change your life. They've certainly changed mine. I look forward to seeing you very much in the next video.